The second principle is a simple one: no nuclear weapons for Iran. Iran is a country whose leaders, whose president denies the Holocaust. He defies the international community. His government trains, funds, and arms Hamas and Hezbollah terrorists in attacking Israeli civilians. He threatens to destroy Israel. Just this week, he said that Israel is about to die and will soon be erased. We can never let Iran obtain nuclear weapons. The next president will have to deal with the Iranian challenge from day one. This is not just in Israel's interests. It is in America's interests and the world's interests. And this is a threat that I take very seriously. I'm a co-sponsor of the Iran Non-Proliferation Act. I support calling the Iranian Revolutionary Guard what it is, a terrorist organization. I have also said that should Iran ever contemplate using nuclear weapons against Israel, they must understand what the consequences will be to them. But we must do everything in our power to prevent such an unthinkable day from ever happening. And the best way to do that is to stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons in the first place. We should start by developing an international consensus against Iran's nuclear program, with a set of tougher sanctions if Iran continues to defy the international community. We should also work with Israel and moderate Arab neighbors to roll back Iran's influence in that region. If the Iranian government wants to become a responsible member of the international community, we would wholeheartedly welcome that change. But Iran simply cannot be allowed to continue its current behavior. And I wish to underscore, I believe that we are further behind in constraining Iran today because of the failed policies of President Bush than we would have been had we taken a much more aggressive engagement course earlier. That is why it is imperative that we get both tough and smart about dealing with Iran before it is too late. Now, my third principle is standing up against hatred and anti-Semitism wherever it is found. And it is not only Israelis and Jews who need to be speaking out against anti-Semitism, it is every fair-thinking person who understands that it directly affects you as well. I have spoken out for years against anti-Semitism in Palestinian schools. I am appalled, still today, that Palestinian textbooks reject Israel's right to exist and describe Israel's founding as a catastrophe that is unprecedented in history. That is not education, it is indoctrination. We also know that the Saudis have textbooks describing Jews as wicked, and we were all revolted when Iran's president held a conference to deny the Holocaust. But our vigilance against anti-Semitism must go beyond the Middle East. It must receive no quarter anywhere in the world. The next president will face a test of resolve on this issue at the 2009 Durban Conference, also called Durban II. I will never forget how the world's first conference against racism became a mockery of itself when it descended into anti-Semitism and hatred. The debacle at Durban must never be repeated. We should take very strong action to ensure anti-Semitism is kept off the agenda at Durban II, and if those efforts fail, I believe the United States should boycott that conference. The challenge of fighting anti-Semitism is indeed great, but we know it is possible to change hearts and minds. We saw it recently when Magen David Adom was finally included in the International Red Cross after years of being singled out for being Israeli. On one of my trips to Israel, I met an MDA member named Natan, an Ethiopian Jew who had saved many innocent lives when he tackled a terrorist carrying explosives. It was a miracle that Natan had survived. His valor was extraordinary, and it was just what you would expect from a member of the MDA. That's why I was so proud to take up the MDA's cause, sponsoring legislation and speaking out. And I was very pleased, as all of us were, when the International Red Cross righted this historic wrong. On a personal level, I was honored when Natan accepted my invitation to come to New York and walk with me in our Salute to Israel parade. In a way, we are still walking together. And the image of this very dignified Ethiopian Jew, now an Israeli, walking in that parade down Fifth Avenue, bearing the scars of his heroic rescue effort to prevent the terrorists from destroying more lives, was one that I will carry with me my entire life, because that was really Israel. It wasn't just everyone on the sides of the street waving, but it was this proud young man who had kept Jewish traditions alive as a long string of those for centuries who had done so, and who had finally come home to Israel and had given so much to protect the country that had given him a new life. So while it can be easy to be discouraged when we look at the challenges ahead, we can never lose our resolve and never give up hope. What gives me not just hope, but the underlying reality that can be delivered by those who work together, is that the power of the values we share with Israel are such an unshakable and unbreakable bond. And the difference that America can make is so critical. Let me leave you with just this glimpse of why America matters and why AIPAC matters. In her memoir, one of my personal heroines, Golda Meir, wrote about the wonderful moment 60 years ago when Israel joined the family of nations and America stood at her side. Here's what she wrote. A few minutes after midnight, my phone rang. It had been ringing all evening, and as I ran to answer it, I wondered what bad news I would hear now. Doesn't that sound familiar? But the voice at the other end of the phone sounded jubilant. Golda, are you listening? Truman has recognized us. I can't remember what I said or did, but I remember how I felt. It was like a miracle, and I was filled with joy and relief. That was the decision that one American president made, to be there for Israel at a time of need. That is the decision that the next president must be ready to make as well. To the members of AIPAC, just know your cause is just, your voice is strong, Washington and the world is listening, so go forth and speak up for what you know is right. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you all very much.